Good evening and welcome back to another video. I saw this article a couple of days ago and I've been meaning to talk about it, which may help people who still want to know what cryptos you could mine with your CPU or GPU in 2019. So let's have a quick read. So it talks about the ideas of what CPU and GPU mining are, and I will literally just look at the actual minings for currency, which you can still mine via CPU first. So I will give some opinion, and obviously, as usual, anything I talk about is my own opinion and not financial advice. Please, obviously, do your own research and don't listen to what I'm saying as complete gospel. But let's start with Monero. And then Monero is one of those coins which you can still mine via CPU. So the cryptocurrency was launched in 2014. It is a coin with an emphasis on transaction privacy. Monero operates a proof-of-work algorithm for verifying transactions. The digital asset works fine with CPU, which makes it an excellent option for miners with small budgets. To start mining Monero with CPU, you need to create a wallet. Okay, so we know that. You should consider the full synchronization of the wallet can take some time. Okay, so it does actually tell you how much you can mine. But if you've got a standard processor from, let's say, 2015, 2016, and it's an i7, you will be able to mine Monero even with an older CPU, but you need to look at your cost of energy versus reward. So if I quickly look at crypto mining calculator, there's a good website called Crypto Compare, and if we have a quick look at XMR, which is Monero, and I think if you've got a CPU, you're probably looking at maybe 25 on an average CPU, or maybe 20 kilohashes a second. And obviously, if you work on something like that, you're still mining Monero. So if you're mining Monero of 0.05 per day, and over the year you'll mine 21, it's not bad. So you've got, and at this current value, you would have mined, obviously in negatives, but you would have mined 21 Monero, I think. And Monero is around $40, I think. So you would have, mined something. So, but if Monero was to hit, I don't know, $1,000 a coin, then you could have potentially mined 21,000 Monero, and obviously less the cost of your electricity. You would obviously be looking at around maybe $19,000 or $20,000. So there is a reward to be made in Monero. It's something you can mine. Now, obviously, if you have multiple CPUs mining at multiple speeds, and each of them can, even at an amount, do 10 kilohash. So you've got maybe a motherboard with two processors, and they're both i7s or i9s, and you are maybe mining at, let's say, 40 kilohashes per second. Then obviously you've got an ability to mine more Monero, and your cost minus your expense, profit minus your cost, will obviously increase to $800 on its current price. Monero is one of those coins which is privacy. There are Dash, Monero, Zcash at the moment, which are your main privacy coins, and Monero is in the news more often than maybe the other two, apart from when Dash is talking about Venezuela. But it's obviously I just didn't realize the price actually up there, so I'm trying to guess. So yeah, $48. It's obviously a good project and it's got a lot of backing behind it. So potentially, depending on where you live and what your electricity costs are, and again, not financial advice, but mining Monero could potentially prove profitable. So for example, if you're living somewhere where electricity costs are very low, or your rate is very, very low for fixed rate for electricity, then you potentially could run um, a mining operation and just have it running in the background whilst you're at work or not using a machine. And obviously, you have to remember for mining, when you're mining cryptocurrency, it does use a lot of processing power. So if you're trying to do other operations on your machine, like maybe play a game or do some video editing, it's not going to work. Most of the minings allow you to use certain amount of threads on your machine, but to make it sort of reasonable, you need to use at least 4 or 5 threads of your CPU. Now, there is a website called Minergate, and again, I don't work for Minergate. I have nothing to do with Minergate, but you can actually mine Monero straight off the app, and it's available for both Windows and Mac. I actually have it on my machine, so you can actually mine Monero with it. But my machine is fairly old. It is an i7, but it's probably about 6 or 7 years old. So for me, mining Monero potentially may not be beneficial at all. I may be mining around this 3.5 amount, and over the year I will mine 3 Monero. So I'm not going to waste my time mining Monero with the potential loss of $1,000 on current prices. There's better ways for me to use that energy, and rather just spend $1,000 and buy like 40 Monero or something like that. So that's Monero. Let's move on. The next one is Dogecoin. The launch of Dogecoin took place in December 8th, 2013 as a comic currency. It was designed as a play on Bitcoin and Litecoin, and for a long time I thought it was Dogecoin until about maybe 2 years ago I heard that it was actually called Dogecoin. So again, it's something we can mine at the moment with CPU, and I don't know whether there is clearly people aren't that interested in Dogecoin because it's not actually on here. I think there's Decree actually. So, I mean, you have to think about mining the currency and the currency's potential value. I think Dogecoin at the moment, if we bring up Coin Market Cap, is it's still in the top 20 or 30, I think it is. There, 24 actually. Its value is 0.001. So it's a tenth of a cent. It's been around for a long time. It has pretty good volume, but even if you mined 10,000 of these, and depending on how much you can mine per day, you're not going to make much back on this. And this price of Dogecoin, even if you look at its all-time high, which was back in there's actually here in 2000 and most recently was 1 cent, then it could be a little bit of change, but you're better off, in my opinion, maybe mining if you wanted to Monero compared to Doge. So not really on the Doge bandwagon. I know it's got a lot of support behind it, but I wouldn't necessarily watch this video and then roll off and expect Dogecoin to hit $1 or even 10 cents anytime soon. I think eventually it's one of those currencies which will die off because it's not integrated anywhere. There's no real value anywhere, and it'll disappear. The next one is Zcash, and Zcash actually had a very, 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 very high all-time high actually. So if we look at its all-time high, I think it reached I think it was over $1,000 at one point. So it's at $52 trading at the moment, but it reached so $876 it reached back in Jan 2018. But funny enough, in 2016 it was $4,000. So that seems more of a potential. I don't know whether I can. Yeah, there it is, Zcash. So how is Zcash profitable? You need a lot of power to mine Zcash, I believe. I think even at 7.5 mega hash, well, that's completely wrong. I think it's maybe around. I can't remember this one actually because I've seen the statistics of what my CPU would mine Zcash at, and I think it's very low. I think it's like maybe 6 or something. Um, it might just be hashes actually, not even kilohash. So I mean, let's add some consumption of power for this, and let's even give it 1,000. And just give it a mining fee. So on CPU again, you need to look at the product and look at what it could get an all-time high. Imagine if Monero hit an all-time high of $4,000 again, and you've got 0.005 you've mined over the year. Is it really worth it? Probably not on the fact that over the year you would have mined 26 cents, and even at $4,000 you would mine like maybe $26 or something over the year of Monero. So not really worth it on CPU unless you've got a decent CPU which can even do 6 kilohash, even with your percentage of electricity, and if you add something very low, maybe something like that per kilohash, so kilowatt hours, depending again where you live. I think mine is, I think for electricity is about 3 cents. So that's what I would be looking at over the year of mining Monero. If I Monero mined, it would be a $2 loss. Okay, so it's not a massive loss, and again something Monero could reach maybe if it was going to get to its all-time high of recent pricing of around $800, you would have $4,000 worth of Zcash. So something which is probably a bit more profitable than Dogecoin, and maybe even more profitable than Monero, depending on its all-time highs. But again, a good product. We don't hear too much about Zcash, to be honest. So you really need to look at which one out of the two, if you're looking to mine privacy coin, which one potentially has got more of a future value to it than the other. I think Zcash, yes, Zcash is actually on Coinbase. Monero is not, but Monero is seen as one of the better, or maybe the best privacy coin. But then Dash is a pretty good company as well, who've been in the news and have got a strong team behind them. So unfortunately, Dash is not mineable via CPU anymore because it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth trying to mine Dash. Not many places you can mine Dash, to be honest. Anyway, what's the next one? So this is now with GPU mining. Bitcoin Gold. I mean, I'm not a big fan of these silly forks of Bitcoin. But what's Bitcoin at? It's at $10. And what was its all-time high? It was 479. That was literally when it came out, and then it kind of, from then on, just been on a steady decline. I don't think Bitcoin Gold is going to survive. There may be a shock for many people out there with anything like Bitcoin. It's not a product I don't think it's going to survive. Is it going to be worth mining it? For me, simple answer, no. I wouldn't waste my time mining Bitcoin Gold. If I really wanted to think that Bitcoin is going to survive at these prices, I would go and buy it. I mean, it's number where is it on the actual chart? It tells you here somewhere. I cannot even see it for the life of me now to see where it sits in the top, whatever it sits at. Oh, sorry, ranks 28. So it's a couple down from what. So actually, Dogecoin is higher than Bitcoin Gold. So that should tell you a lot. But it's on. I believe it's on most of the major exchanges like Binance and HitBTC and Bitfinex. But the money at the time you would spend mining Bitcoin Gold, if you really thought it was going to be worth it, you might as well spend $100 and get 10 Bitcoin Gold, and then maybe hope it goes back up to $400. I don't personally think it will. I don't think it's going to be a coin which is going to last forever. You've got Bitcoin, why do you need Bitcoin Gold type thing? The next one, Zencash, actually, and I think Zencash is actually a currency which has got very, very low supply, so potentially could have a good a good value, but it's not really done much. So its value is around it's $4 at the moment, and it's got a similar to Bitcoin. It only has a circulating supply of 5.8 million, meaning that it can reach high figures quickly. But I mean, look at the volume; it's incredibly low. It's $383,000. It's something which can be easily manipulated if we really wanted to. It reached an all-time high of $65. So again, when I something I should have mentioned actually, sorry, when you're talking about GPU mining, you're not talking about a 500 megabyte graphics card or a 1 gigabyte graphics card. You really need to be looking at, okay, so I've got a NVIDIA GeForce, GTX 1080 Ti, and mine's a 16 gig graphics card. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just your normal inbuilt Intel graphics card, and most of the time you can't use those graphics cards because they're not dedicated. You need a dedicated graphics card, and you may need 1, 2, 3 GPUs of 1080s or 1090s. I mean, ideally, just everybody wants a Tesla, but I think a Tesla is like $3,000 for a Tesla graphics card. But this is what I'm talking about. If there are people watching out there who just use gaming and have got 1080s, then when you're not gaming, you possibly set up a mining rig just to see what you mine via. If you were going to maybe mine Zencash, or if you really wanted to Bitcoin Gold. And I think Z Classic is the last one. So this is a fork of Z Cash. And again, I don't think we hear much on Z Classic. I didn't really know much about this, to be honest. I mean, where does it sit? 374. Look at the volume, $25,000. I mean, you would be wasting your time, personally, mining this, because that with volume that low, that can easily be hacked. It's not a project I would ever look at. It's at 82 cents at the moment. So what you can do is, what's quite useful is, if you take your graphics card and you can go to just literally type into Google 1080 Ti mining against Z Classic, and you'll have seen forums, people say, oh, I'm getting this many mega hash or this many kilohash mining Zcash or mining Zencash or Z Classic, and this is what I'm making. But Monero is one of those cryptocurrencies which will remain possibly mineable by CPU for a number of times, but although I believe, because it's been used as hacks so many times, around 40-90% of Monero has been mined already, so there potentially can't be that much Monero left to mine. Everything else is going to be via exchanges. Dogecoin, again, wouldn't be too interested in that. It's was a joke coin, will probably remain a joke coin regardless of its following, and it's not going to really be implemented by Starbucks or Microsoft anytime soon. Zcash, good project, had a very good all-time high. Possibly one you could look at. Like I said, you could choose between Zencash or Monero, or try and mine both depending on how many machines you got, but be aware of the energy costs and take that into consideration, of that you are going to be paying a lot more if you're constantly running these 24/7, and the degradation of your equipment at home. On CPU side, I would only personally look at Zencash. I wouldn't be looking at BTG or Z Classic. I mean, this is a very small list. On popular coins, there are loads of public coins out there you can go mine, but you're looking at currency 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, which are mineable, possibly via CPU. A bit like you can mine Electronium, which I believe you can. There's an app for it, which actually I believe I have it on my phone, and you can mine from that. So yeah, definitely worth looking at that. But I'll leave it there. What do you guys think? Do you guys know any coins that you can mine? Is it worth talking about something else? But I thought I'd give it out there for people who want to know whether they can still mine cryptocurrency. But any questions, please ping me, message, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you very much. Goodbye.